Hello. Cinema is the best 3D package out there, at least when it comes to having a friendly interface. However, there are still a few things missing. Things that are hard to live without, especially when you frequently work with heavy files imported from SolidWorks, 3ds Max, and other CAD programs. Luckily, built-in Python and ChatGPT give anyone a chance to fill in the gaps. Let's look at what I've managed to cobble together over the past few months, using this wonderful free scene of a Coke refrigerator downloaded from 3dsky.com as our guinea pig. The first thing I want to do with the fridge is open its door. To do that, it'd be great to put the pivot exactly where it belongs. So we reach for axis center, we drop the z-axis where we need it, and boom! The door flies off somewhere into the void. Why does it do that? Your guess is as good as mine. Maybe Chris Schmidt on one of his streams can shed some light. In the meantime, the align axis rotation to world script will instantly fix this weird imported axis glitch. So now axis center can safely put the pivot in the right spot. We can finally open the door. Oops, the camera jumped somewhere. Let's zoom in and see what's inside. Now, cans. Everything looks okay, but just look at this hierarchy in the object manager. If we want any kind of flexibility, say swapping out cola for Pepsi at a moment's notice, we need instances, not a pile of null objects filled with flat polygons. So let's select one of the polygonal cans and hit the Convert Duplicates to Instances button. Bam! Magic happens. All duplicates of the selected object become instances. Then we can press the Select Duplicates button to pick out any unwanted copies and delete them neatly, leaving only the originals behind. Select, delete, select duplicates again. Deselect, deselect. Zoom in to make sure I'm clicking the right thing. Can I delete this or not? Yep, we can. Fantastic. Now let's select all our instances with Select Instances script. Drag them under a single null with their master. Drop them into a fracture. And hit Move on Top to push them to the top of the hierarchy. The door is already open, so feel free to guiltlessly move to bottom. Now we can add a formula effector to the fracture and tinker with the settings a bit. Okay. Let's adjust a bit of these settings. And that settings too. And look at that. Our cans are hopping around according to the formula. Let's slow it down a bit. It's cute, of course, but usually a formula effector doesn't behave like this exactly. That's because in the object manager all the cans are in chaos. FBX format didn't care to sort them nicely on import. Thankfully, the sort in grid order script fixes this in a flash. Whether you've selected a null or just a handful of objects, it will rearrange the selection in the object manager to match their layout in the viewport. Let's name our cloner and the master can 0, then hit Rename all instances as reference. Perfect. Now all the instances are named exactly like the master and are easy to spot. Next, let's take a quick look at how the Select Duplicates via Point Cloud and Convert Duplicates to Instances via Point Cloud scripts work on these shelves. Unlike the previous scripts, they don't look for exact parameter matches. They compare each object's point cloud. If those points match within a given tolerance, the objects count as duplicates. These scripts are lifesavers when you import from CAD software. Your objects may look identical, but their points can differ by tiny floating point errors. Side note, Cinema's step importer is pretty awful. If you have 3ds Max or another editor, run the step through that first. Quick show of hands. Who's ever copied, say, a bookshelf into another file, only to find half the books are missing because they were instances whose masters lived on a completely different shelf? Come on, nobody? In 3ds Max, instances are completely self-contained. Delete everything else, and the instance still lives. In Cinema, The swap instances and copy script solves this. Copy a bunch of instances into a new file, or the nulls containing them, doesn't matter where their master lives, and they still arrive as instances. Only one will become the master. Ta-da! Okay, we just pasted our instances back in, and now look at these material manager duplicates. If these were standard cinema materials, a built-in remove duplicate materials would sort it out, but it doesn't work on Redshift materials. So we wrote our own. Hit that button, wait for the script to scan the entire scene, and bam, all materials are back to one copy each. By the way, how do we quickly rename our instances to match their IDs in the cloner? Cinema has a naming tool, but let's be honest, it's so convoluted you end up hitting your desk instead of buttons. Instead, let's select our instances and press Quick Rename. Type whatever name we want, click Rename Numbered, and voila, all instances are now numbered according to their ID. You can also add a postfix or prefix if needed, or if you just really love typing long names. Postfix, prefix, names sorted. Next up, a script that seems trivial but saves you from massive headaches. Set parent and put into. Let's choose the door and hit Set Parent. Then pick any objects, hit Put into. They're now children of that parent null, and you'll never have to drag them across several screens in the Object Manager ever again. And if you accidentally selected the objects first instead of the parent, remember, Cinema 4 DR25's selection filter has Selection Object, which lets you store and recall any selection. Now let's say I want to give that entire door a fresh material, even though all its internal parts already have a pile of materials. There's a button to quickly remove those extra tags. Unlike the big scripts we covered earlier, the last 2 or 3 are tiny, and ChatGPT writes them perfectly on the first try, no errors. The point of this video isn't just to advertise my scripts, but to remind you of the possibilities. For example, I spent a week on that convert duplicates via point cloud script and another week on the Redshift material deduplication. I'm not ashamed to promote those. But then there are the little ones like select parent of selected object. Cinema doesn't have that by default, yet it's needed all the time. Oh, and the door vanished because of some mysterious bug I noticed after recording. Classic. Now let's add some cameras. Okay. Here's another super simple script that just selects the currently active camera. In my opinion, that function should live in one of the viewport menus. In 3ds Max, it's there by default, by the way. Scrolling through a long camera list with the mouse wheel in a complex interior scene can become pure torture. Finally for today, a script similar to the set parent put into one I showed earlier, but specifically for Redshift lights. It's a huge pain to add objects to an include or exclude list, especially for many lights at once. Sometimes Cinema lets you add to multiple lights in one go, but if you try to change something on all of them later, the list gets inactive and you have to edit each light one by one. This script handles exactly that scenario. Now I'll be goofing around for about half a minute while I collect all the objects containing cans. This is why it's so important to give your nulls clear names from the start. You'd think with my own scripts it'd be straightforward, but I've noticed my laziness level has skyrocketed. That might just be in my head, or is yours too. Now, if a neural network doesn't do something for me automatically, I just shrug and wait. It'll be able to do it soon anyway. Oh, and here's another small but very handy script. Delete empty nulls. There are similar scripts to remove empty instances and empty material tags. Trust me, you'll create plenty of those yourself. Okay, let's open the script called RS Lights exclude include manager. As before, hit Add RS Lights to add the parent lights. Then use the other button to add the objects you want. Check that everyone got covered and you're done. Want to remove the top Coke shelf, 0, from both lights? Select it and press remove. Want Fanta to be affected by only one light? Clear the list and add only that single light. The beauty of these scripts. As long as their dialog windows stay on the screen, they remember your selection and parent lights. You don't have to keep re-adding everything. That's it. Thanks for watching. I hope this video was helpful. The link to the scripts is in the video description. Bye everyone, and have a good day.